So, welcome to the Grey Campus PMP certification exam training. I am SN Panigrahi, trainer, and brief we will discuss what we promise and what you are delivering. Just to be brief, I am telling you, and we are providing these 35 hours of training, virtual classroom training, and supported by many of the tips and tricks for the exam pass at the first attempt. And also we are dedicated team is available to handhold you for the supporting till you pass the exam and beyond it. Means after the exam also we are helping you how to get the PDUs. And in this Grey Campus we are providing to you 24/7 e-learning support. Chapter wise subject materials are available, chapter wise quiz questions are available, pre-recorded videos also available, and many other tips and exam tips are available to you. And complimentary soft copies also we are providing you for various subject materials and practicing tests, and 200 plus multiple choice questions like that we have practiced already during this 4 days training. Means every chapter we are explaining to you, every topic or every subject you are explaining to you, followed by there are question answers. So therefore during this 4 days this training we are almost covered the 200 plus question answers. And also these 2 mock tests are available in the portal, and multiple times you can practice it, and recording of these 4 days sessions also available on the portal, and soft copies of the various process charts, input output, this processes, all ITTOs, those also will be provided to you. Time to time I am sharing to you. And this apart, soft copies of the quick reference sheets like formula at glance or this change mechanism, for example, all those things I am time to time sharing to you. So these are available to you. And complimentary 1 day mock test also you can attend. Every first Saturday we are conducting mock test, that full day full day mock test supported by a instructor, that is available. Take this advantage also if you want.
Oh, sir, how can you explain this again, sir? This full day mock test every Saturday?
Every first Saturday we are conducting this type of mock test session, and for this you can contact our admin staff, Ria, or otherwise Mr. Sam. They will guide you. Okay, sir. And also industry related examples and other things we are providing. My trainer support is always available to you over phones 8 to 9 o'clock in the night. Every time I am available to you. That is my public service timing. So I am dedicated for the public service for 8 to 9. Anytime you can contact me about this. Any questions or answers if you want, you can get in touch with me. Apart from it, we are in touch with you through WhatsApp group, also emails also, you know all the emails, so that you can come to us anytime. Any support you want we are providing to you. Then live interactions also there. 35 hours contact this certificate you will get in a couple of days, or 3-4 days maximum you will get the certificate. So you get from the Ria or Sam. If any doubts about the application and other things also, we are providing to you all the support. Now we are going to listen the success story of PMP passed in the first attempt, and all the domains he has about means target. So that is the story we want to now listen. With us Mr. Vipradas Bandopadraya. So you listen to him, he will explain to you. If you have any doubts and other thing also, you can interact. So he is very kind enough to come to our this session, and he want to share his experience. So I am now handing over to Mr. Vipradas Bandopadhyaya. He is the our 11th and 12th starting batch of the July 2020. he wrote the exam on the 26th of August 2020 and scored all above target in all the process groups. So, now this is his certificate. Of course, this certificate on 26th August is passed with all the A, and you will get also, this is the certificate of the exam report you will get, means that grading you will get. This is the grading, all these things you have seen, but of small letters of course, but these all he got the above target. This is what the certificate, grade certificate you will get it apart from the certificate. The PMP certificate is this, and this is the grade certificate. Now I will hand over to Mr. Bandyopadhyaya. Mr. Bandyopadhyaya, please address to our delegates, and they have some answer questions they have asked you. Please explain to them your experience also you share to them. Please, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Panigrahi and Grey Compass for inviting me in today's session. And hello to everyone. So I will start the session by, so my session will have three different sub topics. Firstly, that the journey, I will discuss about the journey when I started and how I completed the PMP examination. And then of course the next part will be the study brief, what all subjects or what all books I have studied, how training material, and of course Grey Compass training I have taken as already explained by Mr. Panigrahi. So after that I will share some tips regarding the exam day and how you should attend the exam and make sure you can successfully pass the exam. Okay, so starting with the journey brief, as already you must have seen here, so I have passed on 26th of August 2020. But I actually started my journey around 10 months earlier when I purchased the PMI membership. That time only I planned to start, give the exam, and scheduled in the month of December, allowing me around 3 months of time for preparation. But due to some reason or other, I was not able to attend during that time and I had to reschedule to March. Again, COVID came and everything got changed. So March exam got postponed, and ultimately in August 2020, when PMI gave the opportunity to take the exam online at your home, I took that option and I successfully passed the exam. So the journey brief is around, I would say, last 2.5 months, which started in say late June, and it peaked during the last 21 days so as to maximize the return. You must have known that by now that if you concentrate for around 21 days on a particular subject, you will be able to achieve most of the result that is expected. So I would say around 2.5 months maximum time period that I have taken to complete the examination. And then for the study period, this is the second section when I will explain what all I have studied, etc. So for the study period, I studied around 2 to 3 hours per day, because after office I had to come and do the study, and it got increased in the weekends around where I put around 5 to 6 hours, because in weekends I attended the mock test. So one mock test will take 4 hours of time, plus 1 hour you will be budgeting for review of the questions that you have attempted, and anything which is wrong that you should review, which is right that also you should review. So both ways put together 5 to 6 hours will be spent over the weekends. So that is how the study period I followed. Next is the books. Now we'll come to the books. The first thing, of course, is the Bible, the PMBOK 6th edition. As you all are expected to appear before January 2021, where the syllabus is going to get changed. So you should be following this PMBOK 6th edition. Now I will tell you very frankly that I studied it, I would say around 2 times end to end. First time initially when I studied, I did not understand much of it because of the structure of this particular book. It does not give you more interactive understanding or a clear understanding of the topics discussed. So initially I did one round, and then I have gone to other books. So the other book which I have referred, or you can say as a reference book, is Rita Mulcahy. That is also the 6th edition book. You can study once, and make sure that you complete all the exercises which is given in that book, meaning that chapter wise exercises. That is very critical. Once you understand the particular chapter, or rather read the particular chapter, you should complete the exercises given. Then only the full understanding gets there. So once I read that Rita Mulcahy book, and then I came back again to PMBOK 6th edition. That time it was clear to me. Why? Because it gave me an opportunity to reinforce the concepts. Because Rita Mulcahy will tell you the concepts in a very clear way, and then afterwards you have to again revisit PMBOK. So that time it will be reinforced. Of course, apart from that, you can also read one book I would suggest, which is Head First PMP. This is a very easy book to read, around 400 odd pages, available online in O'Reilly. So in O'Reilly.com, you can go and you can subscribe for 10 days period of free subscription. During that time only, you can read this book. It is as simple as that. And questions are also very easy. But at least you can read it and get a general understanding of what all topics, what all process areas, knowledge areas, and then process groups are there. Okay, so that is the Head First.
What's the spelling? Head First?
Head First PMP. Head and first, yeah.
Okay.
So this book is there. That book you can read once. I mean, on a leisure time you can read. It is as easy as I can say. But the other one, Rita Mulcahy, is a serious reading, because that is what will give you the clearer understanding along with the questions. Because in PMBOK you don't have any questions or any exercises. So then, of course, then I will come back to. Now I'll come back to, these are the books. Now I'll come back to the training. As you all have participating in the training and you have completed the 4 days. So that was one of the biggest game changer for me, as I would tell, because this Grey Compass training actually gave me the confidence, the final push to appear for the exam. Earlier I was reading, but I was not able to concentrate and make sure that I can appear for the examination, meaning that that level of confidence was not there. But now, after attending the Grey Compass training, which Mr. Panigrahi conducted in that batch of 11th and 12th July 2020, I got a lot of confidence, because he shared a lot of tricks, like how to manage change, for example, then how to ensure that your ITTOs are correct, because there are I would say around 600 odd ITTOs in PMBOK guide. You cannot read all of them and you cannot remember also. That is not possible. But you should know the trick. For example, you should know the logic. For example, in the change, for example, in the control process groups, any control you take, control quality, for example, then your input will be your work performance data and output will be your work performance information. So that type of tricks, which is very simple to understand and apply in the examination, is what you can gain from this training, which I gained for sure. And then Grey Compass, there are 2 things which is very, is very important as far as this particular training is concerned from this Grey Compass Institute, is that they give you an option to do chapter-wise exercises in the online portal. Once you go into the online portal, you will see the videos of the chapters, and then they will have chapter-wise quizzes. That is very important, because that will again reinforce your concept. If you directly go for mock test, it will mix up. You will not be able to understand from where your strengths are and from where your weaknesses are coming. So you should complete the chapter-wise quizzes. There, Grey Compass plays a big role, because in that online portal, you will have a lot of chapter-wise quizzes available to you along with the solutions. So you should attend that. Apart from that, he has already mentioned, we have gone through around 200 odd training, 200 odd questions in this particular training session. That also we did during our batch. So that also gives us that also gave me a lot of confidence, like how to attend those questions, what are the tricks available, and how to answer them correctly. So that is how I felt confident. After that, he will also share with you 2 practice books. These are very critical. I'll tell you, one is PMP Practice Exam JLH McGraw-Hill book. I will tell that is the toughest set of questions that I have faced in that book. I have never crossed more than 70% in any of the process groups. The most important part is this particular book is divided into groups, into process groups. Okay, as per PMI exam content. If you go to the PMI exam content book or the guide, which is available in PMI website, you will see that they have divided the examination into different process groups, as you know already, and under that different tasks. So every process group will have certain number of tasks. And this practice book, where all around, I would say around 1000 exams, 1000 questions are there, or maybe 900. There, they have given it as the process group wise. So you will have initiating process group, a set of questions. Then you have execution planning process group, set of questions, and so on. So here, the questions are double in number. So if you say 100 questions, they are giving 200 questions for one process group. So that way you will be attending around 100 or 1000 odd questions, but these are very critical for your understanding of process groups. This book is very important to be completed or finished before you appear for the exam. I did it once before I scheduled the exam, and it gave me a confidence because I knew those were the toughest set of questions. I have never faced in another case. So, but that will give you a confidence underlining that you will be able to attend, because lot of detailed explanation will be there against the question. So you will understand. It will be a learning also. That is one book. Another is PMP Exam Prep 1000 Questions, Answers and Explanation by Christopher Scordo. That book also sir will share with you. That book also have around 1000 questions, but it is an easy set of questions compared to the earlier book, the McGraw-Hill book. Of course, but you should also attempt this book and make sure you practice the questions. Here also, chapter wise, process group wise, knowledge area wise questions are there, not process group, knowledge area wise questions are there. You can attend them, you can have an understanding, and then you can attend mock test. All are available in this particular, okay? So then finally, after that, I did some around, I would say around 8 mock tests, which are available in different places across the internet. You can find and get. It is a free, there is no need to pay anything. So around 8 mock tests. So put together, I would say around 2000 odd questions I have attended. I would think that this is a threshold number of practice questions one should attempt to feel confident. So, and generally your score range, my score range were between 75% to 80% in all of these mock tests. But some cases it will be more or less. And of course, I would be not correct if I forget to mention that Grey Campus has actually 3 mock tests in the online portal. Okay, so if you go to the online portal, you will see mock test 1, 2, 3. Those are also excellent. Actually, that will give you what I will say, that will set the bar, because progressively the mock tests are difficult, starting from 1, 2, and 3, and you should attempt and you should ensure that you are achieving at least 80% on the first, and then you may get a decreased score range also, depending on case-to-case basis, because the difficulty level will increase. But you should and you must attend those 3 mock tests also. Okay, so that will give you also a lot of confidence on how, because mostly those type of questions will appear in the examinations in a different format as such, but then you will have a confidence to attend them. Okay, so as far as the training is concerned, I would say that live online training from Grey Campus, that was for 2 weekends. As I said, it is a game changer, because earlier I was not able to concentrate and close it, but then now after the training I actually gone ahead and scheduled the exam and actually passed. And I will tell you that tricks I told you, I would say around 10 to 15 questions in the actual exam, in the PMP exam, I was able to answer basis on the tricks shown during the ITTOs of these processes. Okay, so you should note down. I think you must have noted down those tricks, and you should be able to practice them in the mock test and other places, and then finally in the exams also you will get questions around that, and you should be able to answer them. Okay, so that is one training. And then Udemy, one course I did. You may go for that course by Trideep Roy, Mr. Trideep Roy. That is a question only, no course. It's a 400 plus questions which is available in Udemy. You can check that, and that will be a source of practice for you. Okay, but generally that is how I have done my study. This completed my study period and the training also. And then I will go to the next phase, or the third section, which is the exam day brief. Okay, so as I said, this was an online exam. Sitting at home only, I attended the exam. So I took an early morning. Anytime you can take a booking, or rather you can schedule in the website, provided that slot is available to you. If you are comfortable during the middle of the night, you can do, or beginning of the evening, up to you. I was comfortable in early morning, so I did a booking or a schedule in early morning. So I scheduled, I would say, in the first week of August, around 20 days afterwards. So maybe by 5th of August I scheduled. and I appeared for the exam on 26th of August. So around 20 days time I had taken to brush up and review again and close. Okay, so that then I appeared for the exam. So you can have that type of flexibility while choosing your exam date. You can book ahead, you can book closer to you, provided the dates are available and the times are matching as per your case. So now just take one thing, remember one point, that during the examination your internet connection should be stable. In case that gets unstable and you may lose time, because the connection, if the connection gets disrupted, then the proctor who will be available, who will be monitoring you, will disconnect or rather shut down the exam, and then again they will start the exam when the internet connection is back, but the timer will keep running. I had this problem, that's why I am suggesting you all to be, just to make sure that your internet connection is strong enough to sustain the 4-hour period. Okay, because I lost around 10 minutes of time because 3 times the connection got disrupted in between of the exam. So I got little nervous, but ultimately I was able to complete the exam before the time. But you must ensure that your internet is available properly during the exam period. Okay. Apart from that, there is no other check-in. I would tell that is very simple. You have to just show your ID card, anything like voter ID or passport, etc. And you have to show means they will give you a link. Before the exam starts, they will allow you to download, they will ask you to download one software which will stop all your services in your machine, in your laptop or desktop, and only that particular exam software will be running. Okay? And then under that, inside that software, you have to do check-in. Once the check-in is started, then they will ask you to show your 4 walls. They will see through the video webcam. So you should have a webcam for sure in your laptop or desktop. So through the webcam, the proctor will see. You cannot see proctor face, but proctor will be able to monitor you every minute. So your video recording will be on, and then they will see all the 4 walls. If there is any problem, they will ask you to remove that particular, say maybe book or something is there somewhere. So that once that is done, and you have to show them, and then they will take a picture of it. Rather, sorry, you have to take a picture of that in your mobile. They will share you a link, and you have to upload. Along with that, you have to upload your ID, picture of the ID. Okay, so all these things are once done, they will allow you to start the exam. Okay, so once the exam started, then you will see one bar is there which is called chat window. If there is a problem during the exam where the proctor is not able to view you properly, maybe because of internet issue or something, your screen got frozen, and that the online proctor is not able to see you properly, then he will stop the exam then and there. Stopping means what? They will just disconnect the exam, and then they will chat with you. If they are not able to chat due to internet disconnection, they will call you. So you can keep your mobile at an arm's length, okay, but not in a, put it in a vibrant mode and silent mode, whatever you want to do, but keep the mobile there so that in case they are not able to reach you, they can call you, because that can happen multiple times. It can happen that image is not coming properly. They will say, I am not getting your video image, I am restarting the exam. That is the term they will use. I will restart. Don't worry, wherever you have left the last attempt, that will be there. But only thing, the timer will change, meaning the timer will keep on running. That is the only risk. So I hope that you will have a proper internet connectivity to start the exam. Now, as far as the exam content is concerned, as per PMI ethics, I am not supposed to disclose any questions, but I will just generally give you a brief overview of how, in my case, how the things have happened. But generally, I will tell you, everyone will have a different set of questions. So whatever happening to me will not happen to the other person who may be appearing in the same time, same period, but he or she will have a different set of questions. Okay? To my case, it was mostly easy to moderately tough questions were there, but no mathematical calculations. That is the first thing. So in the sense, whatever formula was there, like EVM formula, then critical path, float, etc. Questions were there, around 5 questions were there, okay, put together. But you were able to answer, you would have been able to answer them without going for a calculator. Note that calculator is available, online calculator is available in that examination window, in that software, it is available. So you can open up and you can do the calculation if you want. But I had not done that. It is as simple. It was as simple as that. That mentally only you could have calculated and computed. It is simple. Like project status, they are asking, giving some CPI and SPI values, and asking about the project status, giving some ETC values and asking about the project status. Some critical path and float. You also have a whiteboard where you can draw the critical path diagrams and other activities you can do in the whiteboard. But it is not required to use that also. That type of question came to me. So you can just read the question, then only you can understand which particular activity belongs to the critical path, where your lag is 0, and which particular activity does not belong. Accordingly, you can calculate and you can do a float analysis also and understand. So this type of question, okay, that is first. Next, ITTO related questions. Now here, major focus was on quality, process group, quality knowledge area, then scope, schedule and risk. These were the 4 knowledge areas where majority of the ITTO questions were concentrated. Around 15 to 20 questions, I would say, came on that particular, on those 4 particular processes, knowledge areas, which were related to ITTO. But they were very much concept-based questions, okay? So there was no direct question on ITTO, like what is the input and what is the output, or what is the tool in between. That type of question was not there, okay? So it was a concept, it was a situation given. On this particular situation, what the project manager has to do, what tool he has to use, for example, that type of question came. Then what input was missed, because of which this particular issue. So they will give you an issue that the project is facing one issue. Why that happened? Maybe because one input was missing in that particular process where the issue occurred. Maybe that was one of the reasons. So that way they are actually referring to the ITTO, okay? But not directly saying that what is the input of this particular develop scope process, what is the input of develop project charter. No, that is not the type of questions that they will ask, okay? So it is a situation based. You have to understand the process where actually the issue issue has come up, and then you have to understand whether necessary inputs were there, necessary tools were used, and the outcome. Basis on that only you have to answer the question, okay? So here, as I said, Mr. Panigrahi has shared the tricks for control related, for quality related questions. They were basically on the control quality and validate scope. This type of, there is a gray area, like people won't generally understand that they want to capitalize on that, okay? The people who will make the question, they want to capitalize. So that time you need to be very careful and answer the question. I also, as I said, I have applied the trick like work performance data input and work performance information output. So this particular trick I applied for sure for any I think 2-3 questions on quality, and I was able to answer it correctly, okay? So that's what I am saying. I am again reinforcing that you should review those notes and understand how these ITTO related questions can be attempted without properly remembering or by heart, okay? Third type of question was, now here I will tell, after these 2 questions, these 2 types of questions, the third type was primarily what project manager has to do, okay? Now what project manager has to do means there are 2 scenarios. There is one, what is called, so they will give you a scenario. Scenario means it will be primarily a sort of an issue or a problem. Then they will ask what the project manager has to do now. So there will be 2 options, 2 type of questions under that in this section. One is what the project manager has to do first, meaning what is the next step he should do. That is one set of questions. Another set of question will be what the project manager has to do to resolve the issue. It may not be the first question that they are asking. It may not be the first step. It may be the ultimate step. Whatever he has to do and resolve the issue or the problem. Okay. So that is how there were 2 subsections of this particular type. And it constituted, this particular section or type constituted around 70% of the question. So in 70 to 80% of the question, you will have this type of question only. So it will give you a scenario, and then it will ask what project manager has to do. So it can ask what project manager has to do first or next, both are same. Or it can ask what project manager has to do to resolve the issue. So the toughest part, I would say, is when they are asking what project manager has to do to resolve the issue, because you have to bring in lot of concepts, okay, lot of concepts from different processes to understand what is the problem and what is the resolution. Whereas what project manager has to do first there, if you can identify which knowledge area or process this particular issue refers, then you know what is the next step. Because, for example, in risk management, if identification of risk is there, then what is the next step that you should understand? Automatically, you know what are the steps one by one, like planning, then identification, then perform qualitative analysis, right? So perform quality analysis will come automatically as a next step, right? So if you know that that particular activity or the issue belongs to risk management, then you can mentally understand what all are the steps, and then under that only where I am fitting in for this particular question. So that is how you can respond. So I would say around 20% of this total 70 or 80%, 20, around 20 to 30, I would say, that were related to this what to do next. So these were easy, but they were actually across all knowledge areas. So this type of questions will be available to you from all knowledge areas. It will start from integration and it will go up to communication and stakeholder management. Okay, in between procurement, everything will come. So this is one set. Another was there, which was having the scenario where you have to resolve the issue. It is not about first step, second step, third step, etc. It is to resolve the issue. What you have to do actually to resolve it. For example, if you want to, I will say give an example, not the actual question, but I will say if you want to transfer the risk. So there is one particular scenario where you don't have the capability to execute that particular activity of the project in-house. So you have to outsource it. So actually through outsource, you are actually transferring the risk also. So how you are transferring the risk? So that is particular scenario they will give, and then you have to identify those 4 or 5 risk transfer processes. The 4 or 5 risk mitigation processes, because transference of risk is one of the mitigations. So they will raise the question from the other side. Like they will say, this type of risk is appearing. What is the best, or what the project manager has to do to resolve this type of risk? Then you may say you may want to transfer the risk because you don't have the capability to deliver that particular section of the project. For example, this type of questions would come. So I would say here primarily they were focusing, in my case, they focused on project data, resource management, risk management, quality management, schedule and cost. These were the approximately 50% question came from there. Okay. And then finally, I would say for the other set of questions on what project manager has to do first and next, it was actually mixed. So there is no specific focus on any knowledge area. It was actually thrown out everywhere. From every knowledge area, some questions were there. Okay. So now after that, I will go to the next section, which is ethics. So people, before the examination, I was apprehensive that there will be a lot of questions on ethics. But I did not get any question. I would say hardly 1 or 2. But whichever question I received, those were the toughest in that examination. Okay. It was very much related to bribing, if I remember, bribing, etc. But it was very tough because it asked about local laws, international laws, national laws. So you need to know the hierarchy. Like in an ethics question, how to apply, which is the first law which you should apply, then second type of law, then third in scope, that way. If it is an international project, then international arbitration and laws will come into picture, etc. So, but I did not get much. I will tell you only hardly 1 or 2 questions were there. And of course, the important part was the interesting part is the agile question. I was also apprehensive that agile would be there. Much of questions will be on agile based, but again, hardly 1 or 2 I got, and those were very moderate. And I would think that those were pre-test non-scoring questions. Actually, they are, I would say, testing the exam candidates for the upcoming January 2021. That time they will be having a lot of agile questions for sure. So now they are actually testing. So that type of thing came. So mostly this is the breakup. Okay. So put together, I would say it was moderately tough, not very tough, but some questions were of course tough. Like ethics questions were very much tough to answer, but then they were not much, luckily. And agile was also not there much. But so as far as the questions are concerned, I would say my suggestion is, as far as my experience is concerned, I would suggest that the exam questions were more common sense based, okay, rather than theory based. That was for sure. So you don't have to by heart understand the theory, but if you know the logic and the concept of deriving a particular formula or resolving a particular issue or managing a change request, then I think you would be able to successfully complete the examination. Okay. So primarily I was required to understand the context of the question. Major, of course, now I will give you some tips which is from my experience which I can share with you. One is there will be lot of distractors in the question and answer choices. Okay, so I will just give you an example. Just understand that. So so what happened that after a certain point, after the quality process is over, that control quality process is over, the output is suggesting that that particular activity, one activity say X, that activity is not as per quality, or it has actually failed the quality test. Okay, that is part of the output. So now, what was the issue? So they will ask you the question, what was the issue? Is it related to that testing was not done properly, or is it related to that the resource who has executed the work was not properly trained? So now you don't know how to answer that question, right? So you have to, actually they have thrown a distractor to you, which is the testing was not done properly, which is not the case, because all the test cases are validated, and then only it has gone through the cycle of managing quality, where the testing happened, assurance happened, everything happened, but still it failed when they are doing the control quality checks. Why? Because the resource who has delivered the project, delivered that particular work, was not properly trained, and that was one of the reason which was given in the question only. They will write somewhere that resource was there, but he was not fully equipped, but project manager anyhow started the project because he has to deliver on time, etc. So this type of things will be there, and they will put a distractor in between, saying that you now want to see whether testing has not done properly. If you go in that way, you are done. You are actually wrong, means you will not be able to answer the question at all. So the question answer lies on the resource section. So it is pertaining to a resource activity. So it is a management of resource. Okay. So this type of distractor will be there in the question as well as in the answer choices also. So you need to apply your common sense primarily to remove those distractors and then resolve the questions. Now here I will tell you the best thing that is there in the online examination right now is they are giving you an option to strike through and highlight. So you can strike through the distractors directly in the question, right? That will give you a clearer question to read. Also similarly in the question also, if there is an extra word or if something is there, you can highlight the relevant word and the relevant keyword to understand. Okay, so I would say you should extensively use this to strike through and highlighting options. Okay, similarly in answer choice also, you can take out answers which are not actually matching. Then finally you can leave. You will be left with, I think, 2 or 3 cases, or maybe 2 cases, 2 answers. Then it will be easier for you to choose the correct answer. Okay, so the strike through and the highlighting options you should extensively use to weed out any distractor, wrong choice, extra fluff which will be there around these questions. Make my word, that will be there for majority of the questions. I would say around 80 to 85% questions will have this type of distractors and extra information, everything will be given. If you are falling for that, then you will not be able to answer the question. But if you are able to take out or weed out those distractors, then of course sure you will be able to answer the question correctly. Okay. And finally, I will just close the session by giving one input. Like you must have read by now, like in the website also, there is an optional break that they are giving, like a 10-minute break. Okay? But note the point here that it will appear after the first 89 questions are done. Okay. So on the 90th question, it will ask you whether you want the break. Again, it is an optional break. It is up to you. I don't have any suggestion here. It is up to you. If you are comfortable to continue in one shot, the 4-hour period, you can do. Otherwise, you can take a break. It's an optional. If you are taking break or if you are continuing, in either of the cases, you cannot go back and review the first 89 questions. Okay. So once 89 questions are over, system will give you an option to review. Automatically it will come. Do you want to review? Yes or no? If you say yes, it will show up all the questions, all the 89 questions with answers for you to review. I would say you should review it and make sure you should at least review the flagged questions. You can flag questions like for review. If you are not able to answer directly during that time, or if you have some doubt, you can flag questions, right? So you can come back and review. So you should use this opportunity to review. Note, once you are out, or rather you are coming back from break, Or if you are not taking break, at the end of the exam, it will give you the option to review the 1-1-10 questions, which are balanced. But those first 89 you will never be able to review. Okay, so make sure you review the first 89 questions before you either decide for a break or you continue. It is up to you, but you should review the questions, and it is always advised you should have at least 10 to 15 minutes time budgeted at the end of the exam to review all your questions. Because I reviewed mine, I did change few questions answers, because at that end you will find some time you will be in a relaxed mode, and you will be able to review, and if there are some errors or some wrong selections done earlier during the time pressure, you will be able to correct it. Okay, so I think that's all from my side as far as the experience is concerned, and the practice and the testing tip, whatever you can say, I have done now. So if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer.
Mr. Mannopadhyay, did you take the break? Because when I looked at the website, I thought it was saying that, only if you take the break will you not get a chance to review. Or once you take the break, means you have to submit that part, and then only you can take the break, and those questions will not be open for review.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, I have taken the break, but I'll tell you, because before the break only, the screen is saying review 89 questions. So if you have to say yes or no. If you say no, then it will goes into the option whether you want to take break or not. Okay. If you say yes, then you will never come back to these 89 questions. They are gone. If you say no, then you can follow on. But at the end, I am not sure. To err on the constructive side or on the safest side, I would assume that those first 89 questions will not come back to you during the end also. So that's why I am suggesting, in case if you are taking break or not taking break, you should review the first 89 questions when the window opens. It will open automatically. Once the 89 questions are over, it will open, say, want to review. If you say yes, automatically 89 questions will be listed out. You can go click each of them and review. Okay. If you don't do that, then, and if you don't take break, I don't know whether at the end that those 89 will be available to you or not. That is a risk, bigger risk. So don't take the risk only. So if you are taking break, okay, you don't take break, it's up to you. I don't have any suggestion on that. But
Mr. Brothers, how long is this break?
Sorry?
How long is this break?
Break is for 10 minutes.
Only
and
10 minutes.
After that, timer will come back. So the 10 minute no timer. After that, automatically timer will start. If you are late to attend, timer will start.
Okay. Thank
you. You said that they will install some software on the laptop.
Yeah, you have to download. Yeah, you have to download. They will give you a link from the Pearson VUE website. That OnView something, OnView. Yeah, you have to download it and you have to run it. So actually, what you have to do before the test, ideally 1 or 2 days ago, you should download it. You can download anytime. You can download now also. It does not require registration. Okay, you can download now. That is the whole purpose of the software, is to test your system capability. Like it will check with the internet connectivity, and webcam is there, not there, microphone is there, not there, etc. Okay. Once that is done, then system is ready. Then it will ask you to log in. That time, of course, you should have. You can then schedule exam, or you must be having the exam already scheduled. Then either way you log in, and in the exam day you log in and start the process. So that software you can download anytime. No problem.
What is the software?
I think OnView is the name. OnView. Okay. It is available in Pearson VUE. There in the first homepage only, they will say, please download and check that system. That they are telling. So you can do that. I did it 2-3 days ago. I did.
Okay.
So you can do that.
Mr. Mannopadhyay, this ability to highlight and strike through, is it available in the the mock exams that we appear for Grey Campus or any of the Udemy or whatever? Because you said one should practice it.
No. I said no. I don't remember. I don't think it is available in this practice mock test. I'm not sure. Mostly no. But I am not saying practice it. You should utilize it. It is normal. Like strike through means if you just put the mouse one side from left to right, automatically strike through happens, because there is a button. You just press that button, strike through, and then put the mouse. It will just strike through. Highlighting same. Just click it.
Mr. Bandyopadhyay, one more question.
Yeah.
Sorry. Did you, when you took this India batch on the 11 to 19 July, obviously you took it as a kind of a refresher. Did you undertake any other sort of boot camp earlier, or this was the only one?
I did not take any other. This was the only one. As far as live training is concerned, that's what I'm saying. Because trainer was there and I interacted with him. So this is the only one. Otherwise, Udemy also have a lot of courses, but that is for recorded. Okay, that is actually a recorded set of course. So maybe if you, up to you. But for live training, this is the only one I have taken.
Is any other questions? Because this is a wonderful opportunity to get interacted
Thank
with
you, Mr.
So once we download and run, once we run this software, then all other facilities will block on the laptop.
Yeah, actually, facility will be running. Then any other window, any other application, everything will be. See, actually, it is very interesting. They will not block anything. They are just checking. If you see your laptop right now, also in those windows which are open, maybe it is a Windows Explorer or a, what you call Chrome browser or Zoom. There is a bar underneath which indicates that that particular window is open. So they wanted to see that only that on view has a bar. Rest of them don't have any bar. Okay. That is the way they will track. If they find that there are 2-3 bars, like one more Chrome you have opened, one Excel you have opened, something already are open, then they will throw error. They will not allow you to proceed. They will say close all application and come back.
And after that, you can uninstall this software.
Yeah. It is a runtime only. It is not going to install in your machine. It's a runtime.
Okay, it is a runtime only.
Open, yeah, it runs and it goes out. Then you delete it from your system.
Mr. Bandyopadhyay, do they give some kind of these sort of instructions before they begin the exam? Obviously, there must be like, these 90 questions and things like that. Do they tell you? Or
No, this 90 question they have not told. No. This is my experience only, I'm saying. But they will give you a tutorial how to use mouse, how to use strike through, how to use highlighting options. This they will give. You have around 10 minutes time to attend the tutorial. I think 10 or 15 minutes time to attend the tutorial. There you can practice also. That time you can practice.
Earlier, they would tell us that you can dump your formulas, etc. You, of course, did not have any much formula questions, but earlier they would tell that you should use that 10 minutes to dump your formulas, etc. on a piece of paper. When
you can do that, you can do that. Then during the tutorial, you can open the that whiteboard and you can type it. But I would suggest it is of, for me, I would think generally it is difficult. I mean, if you dump it, you will be concentrating on that and you have to type very fast and your mind will be more excited than it should be to start the exam. Because you are recollecting and dumping these formulas, right?
You are right. I was a PMP once, I did not dump. I simply went for it and
yeah.
Mr. Vipradas, hello.
Yeah.
Did you know which were the 25 questions which had no scoring?
No.
Out of the 2?
No, no way to identify. Normal, okay. Same question.
Mr. Bandyopadhyay, I have a question.
Yeah.
How long it took you to do the preparation before you actually decided that you can register for the exam?
So as I said, so the June end I started. So June, July you say, and August first week. So maybe 2.5 months maximum.
2.5 months.
Yeah.
And were you taking some, I know you would have been taking the mock test, but did you decided that some score you will achieve, then only you'll go for the...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 80% is average. Around 80% is the threshold you should achieve before you feel confident. Because in my case, I felt confident. And one more thing I would just like to highlight here for all of you, that PMI has also given 200 set questions. Okay, that is a free. Like if you go for PMI membership, you can attend that set of questions. Okay, That 200 question you can download and attend. That is the actual PMI questions or the PMP question from the earlier years. But you will not be knowing which year it is, but they have given. So that is also another benchmark. So till I achieved their 80%, I was not ready to schedule the exam. That also I did. I will tell that. So maybe you wanted to check that.
And when they ask you to show the movie of the room, like the video of the room, do they want the infrastructure setup of the room to be changed or to be removed, or it can remain like that?
No. They will not ask you. You only have to upload the pictures of the 4 walls. So that time they will tell you, you take left, right, that instruction will come. From your desk, you take left side, you take right side, this way. Then if they have any other question during the examination, if they find that something is not there correctly, or some issues is there, or the candidate is using something, cheating or something, then they will call you. Through webcam, they want to see the whole area again. That's all. Otherwise, they will not ask you to show the area. Unless they feel there is a problem, that time only they will ask you to show them. Otherwise, you have to only take pictures of the 4 walls across your 4 positions. I mean, 4 position of the sitting area, 4 sides. You have to take picture and upload.
And all infrastructure can remain as it is, whatever is.
Everything, there is nothing. Only books and documents should not be appearing.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, any more questions?
Camera should be always on in the.
Yes. Camera should be always
They don't trust, huh?
Sorry? No. That is the minimum. That is the basic requirement. If the camera is off for some time or some 1 second only, they'll stop the exam.
And mic also.
I don't know when when world will reach to such trustful time.
Yeah, but till now, as on date, it is there. They will keep on camera moving. No, mic, I don't know. Mic, they will test that. Software will test whether the mic is working or not. That's all. Generally, you are not required to speak. Okay. Only they will chat with you if there is a problem, or they will call you in your mobile. These are the 2 options they will utilize.
Okay, very good interactions. I believe all of your questions have been answered, and thanks to Mr. Vipradas Bandyopadhyaya for kindly accepting my request to address this audience. So thanks once again, and in fact very nicely has explained all the steps and his experience he shared, and he's also cleared many of the doubts you have in mind. So he has instigated, in fact, given a motivation for you, in fact inspiration for you to write the exam, because he has shared the experience, how he has felt, and what are the tips also he has very nicely explained to you. And some of the questions where generally used to come, that is also he has given like a hint. So of course from the each question to each person to person it varies, because from the lakhs of question bank, that questions are there in the question bank, lakhs of questions are there, which questions comes nobody knows, but some of the experience has shown, and of course this is very thankful to him for coming and sharing his experience. And of course we all wish you all the best. Take inspiration from him, and I wish all of you should become a qualified PMP certified. So at the end you have to give me Guru Dachina. Of course you have to show your PMP certificate within the next 2-3 months, because maximum, as I told you, 31st December is the last chance to write the exam in the present pattern. The pattern of the exam we know now, but coming to January 2nd January 2021 onwards, the entire pattern will change and many additional subjects will be added. Then the difficulty level will definitely increase. So my request, make all your effort, write the exam and pass the first time attempt. All the best. Thanks a lot. And before that, if you are all interested with Mr. Bandyopadhyaya. Of course, he is a success story behind us. So we can take a photo with him to remember him. If you all agrees, we can take a last one group photo, right? All are agreed? Hello? Then we open this A. So just a minute. So everybody come to the photo A session. Where I missed. Just some problems happening for me. I am trying. So I request everybody to join. Yes, others please join. Sahad, please join. Yes, Mr. Sahad and Swati madam. Yes, Mr. Sahad, welcome.
Yes.
And of course, you can remove your mask. Okay, it is not required because we
But
have a better picture. Okay, nearby nobody is there, then ensure that is not mandatory requirement.
I could not see anyone. I mean,
No, everybody is there. I will show you all these things. I will share
See
to
the
you.
screen.
I will share to you. Of course, you will see. Shweta madam, please join. Yes, madam, please join.
then let me remove this.
Yeah, those things remove. Earplugs also,
So we
if you
can't see the
want, you are
screen.
comfortable, you can remove.
Sorry.
Yes, Sahad. And if you are comfortable, you can remove this earphones also and
Headset,
have a
right?
better picture
But
of
then I
yours.
could not.
Your better
We
picture
can't
of
see
Okay.
yours.
anything.
Okay, you can keep if you, as that is up to you. And
Share
you
your
can
screen,
come
sir.
from come forward so that better picture will be there. Nearby, if you
Sir, your screen is not shared. We can't see your face. Where is it?
you're coming and going off. Yeah. That's
Yeah, okay.
That's true. You come nearby, near to
Okay.
the web camera, and then your screen will be better.
Sir, is the
Yeah.
screen on? We can't share.
Yeah.
Yeah, share your screen. So we can't see anything. Can you share your screen?
Yeah, you come nearby. Yeah, your photos I'm taking. 1, 2, 3. Let us laugh. Have a smile. Okay, best. Thanks a lot. You are taken. I will share to you, all of you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot,
Thank you,
and
sir.
all the best. All the best. And I want to see your PMP certificate. And I want, if you want to share your experience also, you are welcome. Once you pass, and always we are giving the opportunity to address to the next batch. So thanks a lot. Thanks to everybody. All the best. especially I have to give the many thanks to Bandyopadhyaya, taking all his effort to come to the session and sharing the experience. Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Thank
to
you, sir,
everybody.
for your invite,
Yes.
and best of luck to all of you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.